Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport and all the crashes from the 2024 Motorsport Games. Not too much from some events, some of the fields were very small, but there was enough action for us to watch here and now. Not too much happened in Formula 4, but Oscar Wirtz did show us how fragile these cars can be. One tap and he was crabbing into the pits. And Max Carhan of the Czech Republic lost his front wing, and that was it from the single-seaters. We got a little more from the touring cars, as you would expect. Rafael Reis of Brazil had a busy weekend, but he did a brilliant job keeping this one out of the gravel. And here he is again, saving another slide after contact from Jensen Brickley. That was a big hit. I'd be surprised if there wasn't some damage to that car. At least Rees kept it out of the gravel. I'm not sure why Megan Tomlinson decided to dig her way deep into the gravel trap. I'm not sure it offers any kind of strategic advantage. Maybe she's heading for the airport. Whilst Eric Genet had a spin without any help and was able to continue. This was the fight for the lead between Marco Butti of Italy and Ignacio Montenegro of Argentina. That's contact once, twice, thrice, a fourth one, then a final big bump, but Butti was through and on his way to the win. Adam Kaut received a few bumps, but was not as lucky. First he got a hit from Eric Genet. And then Frenchman Aurélien Comte. Now moving over to the muddy world of crosscar. The tight track often means traffic jams, but they can usually untangle themselves and keep going. Many are very capable of crashing on their own. Do these things even have a reverse gear? The minis would only go out one-on-one, and yet they still manage to hit each other. Neither one looks very happy with the other. It looks like they could keep going, but not for very long. I imagine these two were going to have to be kept apart for quite some time after this. Sometimes it's very hard to guess where the crash will come from. Not him. There you go. Let's take a look at how chaotic a start can be. Flag waves. All is calm for a few seconds. Green light. Off they go, and off they go. Only 2 cars is a bit of a result. They don't look very easy to get going again. Especially after you launch them onto their roof. But we leave them to play in the dirt and head to the virtual world, where not much seems to have changed. Actually, it's amazing how much like real life this is. In fact, it could just be any normal weekend in GT racing. Even the onboard camera looks legit. In real life, you might be given more than a penalty for that. The attention to detail really is incredible, even if the driving standard is less than incredible. But sometimes the lack of danger leads to fairground dodgems. I feel like the lessened risk of severe injury leads to moves you would not see in real life. And without thousands of pounds worth of damage to real world cars, why not go for it? This point was even more salient in the Formula 4 eSport event. You don't see that too often in real life. And yet, when a car is left on the grid, it's still chaos. Keep your eyes to the top of the screen. In the real world, that's a red flag. Here, they can carry on regardless. The end of the Kemmel Straight was where we saw most of the action. Something about this corner proved a challenge to many involved, and with plenty of cars on track, there is plenty of options for potential victims. And here's what you do when you really don't want your rival to win. Take him out before he can cross the line. Yep, that's another group of cars at that corner, just a different point. Maybe if they stop going in 4 wide, it might work. Don't blink or you'll miss it. 2 cars trying to occupy the same space at the same time is a universal problem. Back here again are the same issues as before. Although you've probably never seen something like this happen. Pretty crazy stuff from the world of esports. But we leave the virtual world to their chaos and head to the sensible reality that is karting. There's usually a lot of them, and they're usually bouncing off each other. Rare for there to just be 2. As we can see from this start, it's usually several going off. They separate them through 2 sets of tram lines so they don't hit each other immediately, but as soon as they are free to do so, they will. Only 4 left behind, that's actually pretty good going. But then the usual racing incidents do occur. This chap has a part-time job mowing the lawn. It helps pay the bills. So much so, another group of drivers tried to move in on his turf. Or it's a unique way to take the first corner. Well, now they're all at it. But from going sideways accidentally to very much doing it on purpose. Drifting is about style, speed and precision. Basically, not like these drivers. In their defence, it's as spectacular going right as it is going wrong. Made even harder when you go out in pairs, and the other car disintegrates in front of you. As we see from this angle, the wheel and the bumper have come away of their own accord. The idea is to keep as close to your rival as you can without hitting them or spinning them out. Or spinning out yourself. And yet, contact just seems to be inevitable. This is a non-contact sport, to be clear. You can see from this angle the lead car slows a lot more than the chase car, and that puts an end to the run before it really gets a chance to begin. In slow motion, you can see how close they get to each other, almost able to touch noses through the window. It really is incredible you don't see more big accidents in drifting. But when it doesn't go to plan, well, there was nothing precise about this. In fact, he may have done it on purpose. We shall leave them spinning in their own smoke cloud and move on to the final category. The GTs were getting up to their usual tomfoolery, and it was those at the back suffering most of all. That's a pretty big spin for a Lambo all on its own. And that's a Ferrari with a much more subtle mistake with very similar results. Good fighting going on here, but they aren't the cars you're supposed to be watching, as 3 others shoot off in all directions. You have to question, in a field of 12 cars, how these 3 managed to hit each other. Big lockups like this are rare. These cars do have ABS, but this driver gets it all wrong and parks his Porsche in the gravel. And that's another Lamborghini going off backwards very fast. With so few GT cars involved, it's no wonder there wasn't a whole lot of crashes, but we have had our fill of the motorsport games for 2024. And so we end with Spain and the UK fighting for the win. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.